come in and told me how to live my experience in it, or how I should have done things, or how I should be to Love Island, and how, you know, like, I've wiped myself off. And to be honest with you, Ron, I don't think that's fair from you, because everyone's experience is so different. My journey is completely different to yours. I don't know you from Adam.
I really am side-eyeing Alma, because there was no need to make such a big deal. There was no need for her to run and sort of make those comments to Ronnie and set him off so that he can go after Ron. Ron didn't say anything that nobody else was thinking about. You know, everybody was thinking about this at the time it happened. So the idea that she's making such a mountain out of a molehill, I don't get it. And for Ekin-su to try and play mediator as well, why are you there, Ekin-su? Why are you always at the center of the drama? This season, Ekin-su has decided to use other people to be the toxic mess and she sort of be the clean one. I think Ekin-su is looking at the game, she's looking at the final prize, and that's where she's heading. And it's about time. It's about time. I'm happy for Kaz that someone has actually chosen her. I'm happy someone has chosen her. I hope he is genuine. But anyway, hey there. Thanks for stopping by. It's your girl Valerie. Welcome to my channel. If you're new here, don't forget to subscribe. Click the like button. Turn on the notification bell when I upload new videos. And definitely leave a comment. In this episode, I'll be reviewing Love Island All Stars Season 2, Episode 8, the aftermath of the game, and everyone is feeling some type of way because they are not happy with the sashes that they got. You have Ronnie and Casey go and have a conversation. Casey's upset because of the fact that he didn't get the passionate sash from Gabby, and it's like, Casey, please sit down and keep quiet. You're just making a big deal out of nothing. I think Casey likes Grace, and I think because he's had a couple of chats with Grace, he's already looking for an out, and these boys seem to be using this as their default setting, whereby if they are in a couple with someone and they're looking for, well, they want to explore a connection with somebody else, they look for an excuse as to justify their behavior, because there's no reason why he needed to be that upset. There was really no reason at all. You have Kaz. Kaz is by the fire pit. She's being consoled by Marcel. And surprise, Curtis is there. And it's like the two of you gave her some of the meanest sashes in front of your girls because you're excited. You're trying to please your girls. Now that your girls have moved away from the fire pit, you're pretending to console Kaz. I don't like that. I really don't like it, that they gave her those horrible sashes and those horrible labels, and then they turn around, oh, Kaz, it's just, you know, don't take it seriously. Well, if it was not to take it seriously, why didn't you give it to the girls you're in a couple with? You knew you were taking it seriously. This is why you gave it to Kaz, to please your girls. Because if really it wasn't that serious, you shouldn't have given Kaz those labels. She didn't deserve those labels. She deserved better from the two of you. And so the idea that you'd stand up in front of your girls and give her the tags and then turn around and say, oh, you know, don't take it personally. Her ego is going to be bruised. Her ego is going to be bruised. She's going to be feeling vulnerable because she came in, she had a guy she liked, you were stolen from her. She explored another connection. The guy turned around and went back and to the girl he was in a couple with, and then she tried to explore a connection with Luca. Luca is not, and then you label her. What do you expect her to do? Please. I wonder if everybody's reactions would have been the same had it been anybody else. It seems like every season there's a person of color who is treated badly. Their edits are terrible. The islanders treat them a funny way, and Love Island doesn't seem to do anything to sort of rectify this, and I really don't get it, and it's really sort of winding me up. It really is. You have Luca go and have a conversation with Scott and sort of explain why he gave him the label vanilla. And it's like, it's not that big a deal. Scott is always looking for an excuse to get upset. That's what I've noticed. He's always looking for an excuse to get upset. So there's no reason to sort of even bother talking about it. Ronnie has a conversation with Elma. Elma is feeling some type of way about the comments made by Ron. And it's like, at the end of the day, Ron wasn't going after Ronnie. Ron was calling out Alma's bad behavior, and she is now trying to weaponize that and use it against Ron when he told her the truth. Had he come in and said that, you know, you are justified for how you behaved when Ronnie and Kaz did whatever they did, would you still be behaving the same way? No, you wouldn't. But you're behaving that way because you are suddenly sort of realizing that, no, you might not have got the edit that you expected, and so you're trying to justify your actions, which doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense to me. Ronnie is already moving on to the next conquest. He's really likes Grace. He says she's very fit, and it's like, but you were friends with Joey, so how are we going to start going after Grace? Make that make sense? Does it seem like production is saying, you two go for a chat, now you two go for a chat, now you two? That's the way it's coming across, because you have Grace pull Naz for a chat, and it was really a good chat in my opinion. They really seemed to enjoy their conversation. They spoke about, the type of spirit animal that they are and their likes, and it was the first time we've actually seen Naz in a conversation. And it's like, so are Catherine and Naz not allowed to speak on camera? Are we only supposed to see them with other people and not when they're one-on-one? Make that make sense? I think it's now a ploy to sort of go after Kaz and Catherine, because I don't get why the producers would do that. You have Gabby sit at the fire pit with Casey. Casey's still feeling some type of way about Gabby giving the sash to Curtis. And it's like, it's not that big a deal. It's not that big a deal. Why do you want, praise for something? You've just been coupled up for a couple of days. Make that make sense. I think Casey likes to be in a connection with someone who is really into him, and he is sort of on the border. I don't think he likes to be the one who's really into the girl. And I think when he's sort of in a position of power where the other person is more into him than he is into them, this is what he likes. And this is the impression that I get, because I didn't understand why he really was that upset. It wasn't that big a deal. You have Luca having a conversation with Olivia, and they're sort of flirting, and it's like, make it make sense. Olivia, we know she's always looking for the next guy. That's the impression that I've got from Olivia over the years, because she did the same thing on her season, and now she's doing the same thing, in the sense that, why is she going back to flirting with this guy who told her that because you were seeing my friend, I don't see anything there? So how did they go from not seeing anything there to suddenly they're exploring a romantic connection? Make that make sense? I'm not buying that. I think it's just for convenience sake, because I think Olivia wants a backup plan in case Grace picks Marcel, because we all know Grace, likes people with a bit of melanin. So I think she's sort of looking for a plan B in case Grace picks Marcel, because they both said they couldn't explore anything because she had been exploring someone with his friend in the real world. And then the producers are really out to get Kaz, because Kaz goes up for a chat with Ron. They really seem cute. They really seem to be having an amazing time. And he's sort of complimenting her and sort of bringing her out of her shell, because she really was down because of the sashes that she got. She spoke about the fact that she donated her hair to charity for girls, young girls battling cancer. That was really sweet. And in the middle of that conversation, Ronnie comes up and is like, why are we not allowing Kaz to shine? Why can't we give her a moment? Why is it every time she starts to shine, we have to find an excuse to bring her back down? This is the second time I've actually seen Ronnie angry, and it's interesting. I personally don't get why he was upset. I really don't get why he was upset. I think he was just told pokies, and then he ran with it because he's trying to impress Elma for no apparent reason. Ron was within his rights to call her out, and he didn't do it in a malicious way. And so for Elma to take it and run with it and make it seem like this guy who came in and was chastising and whatever. No, he sat her down and he just gave her advice that, the way you reacted is not it. It really is not it. You could have done better. You should have done better, actually. There was no need for you to be out here, throwing a fit and whatever. So I'm happy that they ironed it out, but I think Ronnie made a big deal out of nothing. I wish he had sat the three of them down, himself, Elma, and Ron, and found out what was actually said, because Elma, I think, is trying to milk it. And then you have Luca and Olivia. Well, Ekin-su sits down with Olivia. Curtis sits down with Luca, and it's like, I can actually see the producers in the back sort of trying to navigate this, because they're trying to make Curtis vulnerable. I don't know whether they're making him vulnerable because they want Grace to pick him, or for whatever reason they're doing it. It doesn't make sense to me that suddenly in week 2, we are having Olivia say, oh, I'm getting this romantic attraction, to Luca. He just looks at me and I look at him and there's sparks flying. No, there's nothing there. There really is nothing there. We're just trying to milk for drama that's not there. There's no need for it. There's no reason why we should actually be even talking about it, per se, because we haven't seen a connection between Olivia and Luca. Now suddenly, after Grace has come in, and we all know Grace's type, we have Olivia saying, oh, there was something there with Luca. No, there was nothing there with Luca. It's her being afraid that if Marcel is stolen from her, then she's going to be vulnerable, in my opinion. I don't think she's afraid that, or she's developed these sudden feelings for Luca. We saw her in her season, how she was able to move from Kai to Maxwell. So I'm not surprised at all that she suddenly is talking about these feelings. You have Luca telling anyone with ears to hear that, he's got feelings for Olivia, and it's like, make it make sense. You've been there, we've seen you for a week, and you haven't had any feelings for Olivia. Suddenly, you are now also getting this spark with Olivia. Make it make sense? I thought you said your boys were your life. So if your boys are your life, how are you entertaining having anything to do with one of your boys' exes? Make that make sense? You have Catherine. For the first time we see her, and we see her in a vulnerable position, and it's like, this is week 2, we're coming halfway through week 2, and suddenly you're showing us Catherine crying. Make that make sense? Make that make sense? I don't buy it when islanders say that, I'm a slow burner. For me, a slow burner is code word for I'm not interested. That's it. Code word for I'm not interested. If this guy is not interested in Catherine, let Catherine know. Catherine should not be out here sort of forcing someone to like her. She's a 10 out of 10. She deserves better. They need to bring in people. If you're going to bring people like Catherine and Kaz, then bring in people that like people like Catherine and Kaz. Don't bring them in if you know that you're not going to bring in the guys that they like. Why bring them in just to break them down? What have they done to deserve this? This is why I was nervous when Catherine was coming back to the show, because I knew at some point they would want to give her a negative edit. Now they're giving her the same desperate edit that they've been giving Kaz, and it's like, make it make sense. How come the only 2 people of color, the girls, are the ones that are giving, desperate edits, and everybody else is got guys fighting all over them? Make that make sense? So the islanders get ready for bed, and obviously the topics of conversation are this issue, whatever's going on between Luca and Olivia, and also you have Ronnie feeling some type of way about the comments that Ron made, and it's like, it's not that deep. It really is not that deep. The comment that Ron made to the group when he gave the sash is the same comment he made in private to this girl, and she's making a mountain out of a molehill. Anyway, everybody goes to sleep. In the morning, Ron is still feeling some type of way. He complains to the guys that, as a bombshell, you need to come and focus on you. You shouldn't focus on other people and what they have going on. And it's like, Ron, it's not that deep. He never said anything negative about you. You are being told that because that's what you are being told. But he never said anything negative about you. He was actually calling her out for the way she treated you. And yet she is not saying that. She is doing and saying anything to sort of protect herself and justify her actions. So I don't get why you can't see that. So you have the islanders leave the bedroom, and you have Grace pull Luca for a chat, and Luca is saying that, I'm happy that you're here. I really like you. It's time for you to come upstairs to the bed. And it's like, okay. I can see them coupling up, but I don't know how long that will last, because I think Grace will be bored at some point. Besides, Luca, I think, is younger than her, so I don't know whether she wants to deal with someone who's younger than her, or maybe she wants to deal with someone who's a bit more her age. I would have thought that she would have gone for someone like Curtis, or someone like even the other older guys, Scott or Marcel, but I'm surprised that she's still entertaining Luca. Or maybe she's looking for a couple where there's no drama, where she doesn't create tension. But Grace has never been one to shy away from what she's interested in, so I'm a bit surprised. She pulls Casey for a chat. They sit down there talking. Casey really is enjoying this. He really is enjoying this, and is really milking it for what it is. I don't know how long that will last. I really don't know how long that will last, because at the end of the day, he is in a couple with Gabby. Gabby's feeling some type of way. She's already let it be known that she's feeling some type of way. So the idea that, he would continue having these chats with Grace and leaving himself open and vulnerable, I don't get it. I really don't get it. You have Luca go for another chat because people were encouraging him. Oh, you need to try and kiss Olivia. You need to try and kiss Olivia. And it's like, that's not it. I don't think Luca's the type of guy that's just going to kiss someone just because everybody's cheering them on. They sit down for a conversation and they shut it down because Luca says he's more interested in Grace and he doesn't want to do anything with Olivia. It comes across as though he doesn't want to do anything he'll regret. And it's like, you've already said you're very close friends. You want whoever you date to like your friends. So if you're very close with your friends, how are you going to date one of their exes? It doesn't make sense. Olivia, I think, wanted to be pursued. And the problem is Luca doesn't come across as someone who's going to pursue anyone. And so if she's hoping to be pursued by someone, she might as well stay with Marcel. She did say she likes that Marcel is more mature and whatever. And it's like, I don't know. I think Olivia is just keeping Marcel until she finds her person. When she finds a person, she's going to dump him. And Marcel needs to do better. He needs to start grafting someone else and have a backup plan, because otherwise he's going to be the next one out of the villa. Having a conversation with Tina. I'd actually forgotten her name. And so they're just chatting about their connection and how they're going. He's saying he's very happy that they're very comfortable around one another and that there's no pressure from her, so things can develop naturally. She says, she has been waiting for a hug, the fact that they haven't hugged. Everyone was encouraging Scott that he needs to kiss her. And I think I see what, India meant by he's calculated. He's realized that he doesn't want to jump from India straight away to start doing things with Tina. So he's decided to pretend as though, he's still, he's being respectful, he's being loyal. And yet we all know that if he had his way, he would have been already on Tina. It seems they really like one another. And my question is, if you really liked each other, it's been a couple of years since you left the show. Why did you not slide into each other's DMs? Why did it take the two of you coming back on the show for you to explore this thing? Unless they were already exploring it in the real world and then they came on the show to just sort of out their connection. Because otherwise it doesn't make sense to me why it took them sort of leaving the show and then coming back after a couple of years to try and rekindle this. It doesn't make sense. They look cute though as a couple. I have to give them that. They really do look cute as a couple. You have Naz sitting with Curtis and Marcel, and he's sort of saying that things have been going great with Catherine, but with Grace, something is there that sort of ignited a flame in him, and it sort of brought his connection up to more or less the same level as his connection with Catherine. And it's like, just tell us the truth. Tell us you were really not feeling Catherine like that. You were humoring Catherine and you were sort of managing Catherine until your person came in. Sadly for you, I don't think Grace is going to turn her head for you. I think she's going to turn for somebody else. I don't know whether you'd be sort of able to sort of stick up or stand up to someone like Grace. Grace, someone who's able to sort of call her out, but still sort of allow her to be herself. And I don't think you would be it. Yes, you'd allow her to be herself, but she would walk all over you. So I don't think that is going to work. So everyone is just relaxing around the villa, and Ekin-su receives a text message. Ekin-su, it's time for you and Curtis to head out for your first date. Please get ready to leave the villa. Hashtag first date fails. Hashtag alpaca you game. And so I think great. This is my opinion. I think Ekin-su is a plant. I'm agreeing with people that Ekin-su is a plant. I think she's a plant the same way Joey Essex was a plant on last season. I think she's just there to revamp her character. She's gone from Ekin-su, the feisty, person that she was in season 1, to suddenly being this sweet and very princessy type of person. And I am not buying it. I know some people are buying it from her. I am not buying it. They go on a date where they sort of see alpacas. They get to feed alpacas. And she's being this vulnerable little flower to Curtis and sort of telling him, she can't wait to meet his friends. She can't wait. And it's like, Ekin-su, I don't buy it. I really don't buy what you're trying to sell. She says, she's trying to take it slow because she's been cheated on by a couple of people. And it's like Davide is about to do his TikToks. I think I remember him sort of saying he's going to be doing TikTok reviews when I was on TikTok the other time. I don't know whether he started. And it's like he's about to light her up. He really is about to light her up. And I can't wait to see what happens there. Back in the villa, you have, Elma and Catherine sit down for a conversation, and Elma is sort of feeling some type of way because she feels like Ronnie has pulled back. And it's like, I think he's pulled back because he's actually found out the truth. I think he's been told by Ron exactly what the conversation was about. Catherine says maybe it's because Grace is here and Grace is friends with Harriet. Grace was very close friends with Harriet in season 11. So I can sort of get that. But at the same time, I think Ronnie is over the way, Elma behaves. I think he's just humoring her until somebody else comes in. I think if the person that he likes comes in through the door, he's dumping her for the next person because he was already saying Grace looks fit. And it's like, how are you saying Grace looks fit when Grace is exes with Joey Essex and you are friends with Joey Essex? Make that make sense? How can you go after someone who's been with your ex? How then will you look at your friend? You need to have a conversation, or you need to have had a conversation with Joey Essex first before you started, considering anything with Grace. But then I think Ronnie is just looking for an out. He's looking for his next conquest. I think he's done with this girl. I think he's fed up. I think he's realized that she over-exaggerates stuff to get what she wants. So while the Islanders are getting ready, they're sort of wondering, that Curtis and Ekin-su have been gone for quite a while. And so Curtis and Ekin-su return. I love that Curtis is being realistic with himself, because he was telling the guys that, I like Ekin-su, but I don't know whether this is it for me, because in my season, the same thing happened, and then Casa happened and things actually went left. I didn't watch his season, so I don't know what he was talking about. But I feel like he needs to be careful, because he is a pawn in Ekin-su's game. Ekin-su has decided to come this time and be more vulnerable and sort of more meek as compared to her character from her previous season. And so if he is not careful, she is going to use him. And when she's ready, she's going to dump him. And so he needs to be mindful of that when he's sort of coupling up with her and is exploring this connection with her. The Islanders come out. You have, for their drinks, they said you have suddenly Scott, and he's sitting with Tina, and he suddenly decides to share his first two kisses. And he says it's worth the 9-year wait. And it's like, so the two of you waited 9 years in order to couple up. Make that make sense? You could have contacted each other in the real world when your connection with Katie didn't work. What happened in the real world? Or were the two of you dating and you've decided to sort of soft launch your relationship on the show? Make that make sense? I don't get it. And they've only been coupled a couple of days and he's already kissing her, and yet he was with India for a while and we never once saw them kiss. I don't remember whether they even cuddled in bed. So I don't know. I can't wait to see what happens with the two of them, because I'm really side-eyeing Scott, because I feel like he's very calculated, and whatever he's doing what's in his best interest when it comes to the game, and not because he's exploring a romantic connection. I might be wrong, and if I'm wrong, I'm sorry. You have Ron sit down for a conversation with Elma and with Ekin-su as the mediator. And I didn't like that. I really didn't like that. I felt like she was milking it. I felt like with Elma, what she's going to do is she's going to try and stay on the show by any means. On her season, she didn't last long. So this time she's going to create a lot of drama and toxicity in hopes of staying, because I think she feels like if it worked for Moira, it's going to work for her. And I don't know how I feel about it, because at the end of the day, if she liked Ronnie and if she feels like she didn't do anything wrong, there was no need for her to continue to pound Ron on the head. At one point, you could see that she was losing Ekin-su. She was losing Ekin-su, because Ekin-su had to bring it back to sort of say, oh, we want to know why you made the comment that you made. And it's like, make it make sense. This woman is making a mountain out of a molehill. They were actually laughing, and he didn't tell her that this is how I want you to behave. He said this is how it came across. It came across as though you had been wifed off after 3 days, and it's not a good look. If I were you, I'd be open to getting to know other people. And personally, I feel like she's in for a rude awakening. I hope they bring in Harriet, or they bring in someone that Ronnie will like, because Ronnie is about to get the ick. The moment he realizes the truth of the conversation, of actually what happened and what was said between Ron and, this girl, he's going to have his head turned. And sadly, because Grace is not been having conversations with him, he's going to wait for the next bombshell, and he's going to put her in a love triangle and then dump her. But anyway, while they're having this conversation, a message comes in for the Islanders to gather around the fire pit, and they gather around the fire pit and everyone is nervous. The message is, for Ron and Grace to stand up. We all know the bombshells need to couple up. And because they brought in 2 people, there was no possibility that someone was going home. Yes, they're going to send home a couple, but there was no possibility that someone was being sent home. Ron stood up and I was nervous that who is he going to pick? I don't think he had a connection with anyone else. I think if he was going to explore a connection, he was going to explore with Elma, but Elma sadly has done herself a great disservice by behaving the way she's behaved. So he makes his speech and he said, he was open to exploring things, and he's decided to couple up with a beautiful Kaz. And I'm like, it's about goddamn time somebody chooses Kaz. It's time somebody chooses Kaz. I don't know how genuine he is, but I think it's time somebody chooses Kaz, because Kaz is an amazing person. I think Kaz won him over when she spoke about, wanting children, the fact that she's doing something for charity. I think this is how she won him over, and I hope they really stay as a couple, because they actually do look cute. Next up is Grace. Grace chooses to couple up with Luca. Am I surprised? No. I don't think she wanted to break up a couple. I don't think she wanted to break up Gabby and Casey, but hey, what do we know? So the 2 new couples are revealed that they are going to be safe, so they're not up for elimination or up for votes, and everybody else is up for grabs. And I'm feeling sorry for Catherine. I really do, because at the end of the day, Catherine, she hasn't had an opportunity to explore a connection. She really hasn't. She hasn't had a good time round this season, and she didn't have a good time round on her season. I hope the producers bring in someone she really likes, because it's not fair for her to have negative edits and not even have an opportunity to enjoy the villa like everybody else. Everybody else is creating mountains out of molehills. Catherine has been very sort of well behaved, and she's really tried to be respectful to everybody else, so she deserves a chance to find love. I can't wait to see what the result is. Thanks guys for watching. Please don't forget to like, share, comment and subscribe, and click the link in my video to watch my review from episode 7. Bye guys.